Steve, if I'm a certified cave diver, why do I need training to go diving in side mount?
Well, why did you need training to become a certified cave diver? Could you have taught that to yourself? Yeah, sure. And in the early days of cave diving, many people did go off and go cave diving without getting any training, and we know what the results of that were. There were a lot of fatalities, there were a lot of accidents, there were a lot of near misses that really didn't need to have happened. So could you teach yourself to go side mount diving? Of course you can. Do people do that? Yes, they do. I did that myself because there really wasn't any courses available. When I was learning to side mount dive, there was some mentorships maybe you could do if you knew someone who was a cave diver, who was an explorer, who was diving in side mount configuration. They'd take you under their wing and they'd help you out. But what is the value of training? The value of training is to go to someone who has a lot of experience doing what it is that you want to learn, that they've developed over many, many years, and they can distill all that experience into a very, very short period of time. So if you come and take a side mount course from me, you're getting 12 years of experience diving in side mount configuration, distilled into a course that's 4 days long. And I truly believe that has a value to it. And I truly believe that in that 4 days, I can accelerate your learning curve and your abilities to dive in side mount enormously. So what you would learn in 3 or 4 days taking a course from me would be the equivalent if you're going out and spending like a couple of years of trying to learn this by yourself. The other reason to take training, rather than just to copy what your friends or your buddies are doing, is the trickle-down effect. You know, if you take training from the original source, then you're going to get the original information, uncorrupted, undiluted. Whereas if you're just trying to copy what your buddy's doing who took a course, then for sure they probably got most of it, but not all of it. And again, they're probably not that experienced as a side mount diver, so when they're looking at you, trying to help you, they're not really as experienced to know what to look for and what mistakes you're making and how to correct those mistakes as a very experienced side mount instructor with years of side mount diving behind them, but also years of teaching experience, and that's the other important thing as well. You know, a good instructor is someone who is a good communicator as well as being a good diver with plenty of experience behind them. So they're going to help you become a better diver. They're going to know the tools and techniques to get that information across to you in a way that you can understand and appreciate it. And they're going to have a lot of experience behind them to really take real world experiences and make those part of a course rather than just reading something off the internet or out of a book. I see an awful lot of people trying to learn various different types of diving and side mount diving on the internet. And there's a lot of different people out there with a lot of different opinions and a lot of conflicting opinions about how you should be doing things. And to be honest, most of it is just complete rubbish. And a lot of the things that you see people talking about on the internet just don't work. And you really wonder how much experience in true side mount diving many of these people who like to present themselves as experts really have, that are posting on a lot of these forums. So, you know, go to someone that you know is doing the type of diving that you want to learn, has a lot of experience in it, has a good reputation as an instructor as well, that's important, and really shortcut that whole learning process. You know, there's no point trying to reinvent the wheel and and make all the mistakes that have already been made, rather than just avoiding those in the first place and actually learning the right way from the beginning.
How do I choose an instructor?
Well, that's very, very important, particularly as you're getting up towards the higher levels of diving. You know, maybe the entry levels, becoming an open water diver, it's not so critical who your instructor is. Although it does, in my opinion, make a difference. But certainly, once you get up to technical diving and cave diving levels, then you know, choosing an instructor is a consideration that you really want to spend some time over, you really want to do some research into, because there's many, many different levels of instructor out there, although they may all have the same level of certification. And one of the big things is experience. What experience does the person who's teaching the course have behind them? Are they really out actually going diving themselves? Not just diving for dollars, but also diving for fun and for pleasure. and how long have they been doing that, what environments are they diving in, what type of diving are they doing? Are they doing the type of diving that you want to learn? Are they diving in the environment that you want to learn about? And how long have they been doing that? Just as side mount has become fashionable and you've got a lot of equipment manufacturers out there now producing side mount rigs for the market, all of a sudden there's a lot of side mount instructors out there who are offering side mount courses without really much experience in side mount diving themselves and not really bringing a lot of knowledge to the table. So it's a case of the partially sighted leading the blind. And you really want to make sure that you find an instructor who actually knows what they're talking about, who has plenty of experience teaching this stuff and also has plenty of experience doing this type of diving.
Please explain your training philosophy.
Okay, I really believe in providing personalized training. I think that the cookie cutter approach to training, it works, but it is not ideal. Just teaching the same course the same way, no matter who your student is. Yeah, okay, it works, but the student doesn't get as much out of it as they probably could. So I really spend some time getting to know the students who come to me to take a course from me. And I really want to look at what their strengths are and also what their weaknesses are. And my goal really is to make them a better diver, not to actually get them through a particular certification level. So anyone coming to me for training is really paying for days of training. The cert is almost secondary to that. If you do enough days of training, eventually we're going to get to the certification, however long that takes. But I never really know when I start a course how long that course is going to take, because it really depends on the student. And I think that it's very important that everybody learns differently. So every time I teach a course, the course is different. That makes it more interesting for me, and it keeps it fresh and stimulating for me as well. Because if I was just doing the same thing over and over again, like a factory production line, just knocking out courses, knocking out students, one or the other, and I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing, I can just do this with my brain switched off, I'm going to go crazy. And at the same time, the students aren't really going to be getting as much from me and the knowledge that I have as if I really look at each person individually and try and work out what's best for them. Okay, obviously the training should be challenging, but it also should be enjoyable and fun at the same time. And I'm not really a big believer in overstressing people or breaking them down to build them back up again. So I don't think that people are learning all that effectively if they're constantly being beaten up by their instructor. So my approach is one more of guided discovery. So I'm going to let you make mistakes for sure, but we're going to be learning from those mistakes, and that's the key thing, you know. I mean, that's the best way to learn, is from mistakes you're actually making. There's no point in me correcting them before you make them. There's no point in me beating you up for making the mistakes, because obviously if you were perfect then you wouldn't need the course in the first place. But we're just going to actually look at what you're doing well, and obviously reinforce that, keep working on that, but also look at what you could perhaps improve on, and find out where you're making errors and how we can improve on that and what we can change, and the tips and tricks that I can teach you that are going to enable you to become a better diver and to eliminate those errors that you're making. So every student's different, every course is different, and that's what makes it fun for me basically as an instructor.